Hi everyone, here we are in our gondola with our gondoliere Ferruccio today. And here we start. I just keep off my mask and we can start our tour, our relaxing and beautiful tour with our gondola. And it's with the sunset, so you will see really beautiful colors, pink, purple, and everything. Now let's start with some information about the gondola. So I think everyone knows the gondola. Gondola is so in the past it was a transport that was used most of all by noblemen because in fact gondolieri were like taxi driver for gondolieri and for noblemen in Venice, and every nobleman owned a gondola in the past. And the gondola, as you can see, it's not straight, it's a little bit asymmetrical because it has to be asymmetrical in order to balance the gondola. In fact, as you can see, the gondola is ridden just by one oar, so the balance has to be in this way, balanced in a really good way. And above all, we have the iron over there. That iron is itself Venice, and later we'll tell you more about it. But it's used in order to balance the head of the gondoliere, so the gondola is not on the like with the back on the back down. And here we are in the small waterways, but now we're turning. So here usually it's the starting of our gondola. In fact, you will see. So usually our tour is with the small canals that we call waterways and with the end of the Grand Canal. In fact, now we turn and we go back to the Grand Canal, so you will see. But anyway, usually we go in this direction that Tomas is showing you, and you will see a lot of different places, the Mozart House, beautiful corners of Venice that you can see only with a gondola. So on feet, if you go on feet on Venice, you won't see it in this on this way. Yes, usually I'm here in the gondola with our customers, with our guests that are coming in Venice, and in here usually I tell them everything about the city, about the story, about the culture, but above all about what they are seeing at the moment. So about the gondola, about the gondolieri, but above all about the palaces that we see. And as you can see, Venice is an archipelago of different islands. In fact, Venice, we can say, there are all small canals that are all small islands that are linked with bridges, and they form Venice. And these small canals, like the one where we are now at the moment, we call them ri, waterways, we can translate in English, because in Venice we have just two canals. One is the Canal Grande, so the Grand Canal, and yeah, now we're going in it, so you will see it, part of it. And later, after the Grand Canal, there is the Canale della Giudecca, where usually there are the cruise ships that goes. And the small water was just few meters deep, while the Grand Canal is 5 meters deep. So yes, as I told you before, so here we are in the gondola. Usually I sit in the same place where you see me now, and I tell to people that are here with me, I tell them frontally, so with them in front of me with mask for sure for the virus. But for people that are in other gondolas, because usually we have different gondolas, they are connected with me through an application, an app, and with that they download this app on their device and they can hear what I'm saying right now at the moment in their own gondolas, so they can listen to everything that they say that I'm saying, well, about the palaces and the noblemen of Venice, and in this way it's 100% COVID free. So now, as you can see, we're going on the main. So the last part, we can say, or the first part of the Grand Canal, or the last part of the Grand Canal, depends on the way that you're seeing it. But usually, this one was the first part of the Grand Canal because people were arriving from Simar Basin, so from this way. But on the left, we have Samar Basin with the, now they will show you with the Chiesa di San Giorgio, so San Giorgio Island. Here behind we have Semar Square, for that's the reason why it's called Semar Basin. And yes, now here Tommaso is showing you the Chiesa della Salute. La Chiesa della Salute for us Venetian is the main important part of Venice. Uh, just want to show you a thing in here. You can see this beautiful moon that at this time of the day it's wonderful. It's really romantic today with the with this sunset, with the moon on this side. And if we look on the other side, we will see that really beautiful sunset. This one here, it's Punta della Dogana. Punta della Dogana was the place where the ships that were coming from other countries had to pay duties in the past. So it was the first, as I told you, it was the first stop that they had to be in Venice. And the one that Tommaso is showing you is the Salute Church. The Salute Church, for us Venice, it's really important. And it's really important because so it was built in the 1600 Baroque style by Baldassare Logena. Baldassare Logena is one of the most important architects of that time, and this basilica is so it was built in order to like a Thanksgiving token for the Virgin Mary in for the liberation of the plague in Venice. And that so there was the last plague in Venice that killed thousands of people at the end of the 1500. And this church for us Venetian is still important because Salute means health. And the Madonna della Salute, the Virgin Mary of Health, it's one of our patron with San Marco. In fact, the festival for the Virgin Mary is the 21st of November, and we Venetian we do like a pilgrim for the we do like a pilgrim, and we go to open a candle for the sign of the health of all our family. And we can talk about our gondola tour. So usually in our gondola tour, I tell about legend, about myths, but above all, I tell to people what they feel for Venice. So I'm a Venetian. I've always lived all my life in Venice, and I love this city so much. In fact, so every corner that you see now in the Grand Canal, so it's something else. But even the small canals, you will see really beautiful corners and romantic corners, and there is art everywhere. In every small corner of Venice you will find art, and for me, I studied arts, and I really love this city so much. So even as I'm telling you, usually I tell all these things and my love for the city to all our customers. In this way, they having me, a Venetian, as their guide, they will know what being a Venetian is, but above all, they will know so the real soul of Venice. And also, the Grand Canal, as I told you, it's our main canal, and as you can see, it's the most traffic canal in Venice. So the small corner, the small waterway that we were before, it's nothing like this. So we have water buses, we have water taxis, we have gondolas everywhere, and usually there is more traffic than now, than now, but usually really there are boats in every corner. And in the Grand Canal we can call the main street of Venice. It's four kilometers, and in here everything is still as it was in the 1700s. So for sure they restored the facade. They didn't let them fall down, but in here everything is really so from a palace like the one that Tomas is showing you. That's the Great Hotel, 5-star hotel. So from here, this was the house of a doge, and so here you can see what is so in the 1700s, because there was still this palace in here. More or less everything was as we see it nowadays. And the Gritti Hotel, so it's the hotel that Hemingway chose when he used to come in Venice. Nowadays, it's the one that's chosen by the main artists from all around the world, but above all, actors. I and yes, usually I didn't say you, but before going in the gondola, I tell to our customer the story about the gondola, so all the part that compose the gondola, why it is asymmetrical, and even about the gondolieri, so some story, some history about the gondolieri. And this one in front of us, it's the Peggy Guggenheim collection. Peggy Guggenheim used to live in here. She lived here for lots of years, but you have to know that this place it was owned by the family Venier, and as you can see, the palace is cut. There is just the ground floor. This palace had to be exactly as the palace as we see in front of it. It was supposed to be a free four-floor building. This is Venier, Cavenier de Leon, and that's the Correr. It was owned by Correr. And they said, so the story tells that this house of the Venier family, it's so it's not completed because they didn't have enough money to go on with the work. And now in here they have the exhibition of art of Peggy Guggenheim with her collection, and in here they do so exhibition of modern art and contemporary art. And over there, over there, we can see one of the four bridges that across the Grand Canal, because as I told you, the archipelago of island compose Venice, and across the Grand Canal we have just four bridges. One of them is the Accademia Bridge that we see over there. Then we have the Rialto Bridge, no one that everyone knows, and we have the Scalzi Bridge in front of the railway station, and the Constitution Bridge. That's the new one in glass. That's made in glass. And here we have a very beautiful corner, where real quiet moment of the Grand Canal. And yes, so with our customer, usually we don't want them to be in a passive way while they are in our gondola. So they for sure they can ask questions, and above all, they can look, they can talk with me, they can ask me whatever they want. And above all, we want them to, to know what we feel for our city, and so to let them know how loving Venice is, we can say. And here there is Cadario. So it's a real beautiful palace, but you have to know that behind this palace that was built in the 15th century, there is a strange story, because they say that this palace brings bad luck to their owners. In fact, the owners of this palace, they used to die in really brutal ways, or they kill themselves, or they die in a really in brutal way. They got killed in real brutal way. And even if it's a real beautiful palace, no one wants to buy it for his story for the mates that he died. And so usually in our during our tour, so I don't speak for 30 minutes, because I think that people can even look at me like, okay, you can say, and just for a second, please. I want to relax. In fact, the gondola tour is a really relaxing tour, and during it, above all in the small canals, because usually we go into small canals that are more most place where you can stay silent for a few minutes, just to let people enjoy the quiet of Venice. In fact, Venice is above all, it's a really quiet city, above all in its hidden part. In fact, the hidden places of Venice, It's where you will see the real Venice. I always say that when we go on the gondola, I always say to people that join the gondola tour with us that so the gondola tour is relaxing, and it seems when we are in the small waterways, it seems to be in a totally different world. In fact, so usually Venice is full of people. The square it's really crowded. There are lines to go to the palaces to see the museums, and going in the small water is like going in another world. And to stay quiet just few minutes with your partner, with your friends, just that you don't lose this because this one here it's the water entrance for our only opera house in Venice, the Fenice Theater. So this theater is really beautiful inside, and for us it's really important. And so the Fenice Opera House was one of the seven most important theater at the time. It was built in the 1792 at the place where there was the San Benedetto Theater. And the Fenice, so Fenice is the Italian word for phoenix. And as you know, the phoenix is the bird that rises, that burns from its ashes. And that theater, even if the name was given before, so it's so the theater had the same destiny. In fact, so it has the same destiny. In fact, the theater took fire for two times, one in the 1836 and the last one in the 1996. So 24 years ago, it was one of the worst part of the recent story, the new story of Venice, the recent story of Venice. Ah, yes, here as you can see, were the small waterways that we see usually. That at the moment they're really dark. In fact, so the last tour for us it's at 4 p.m. Now here are the places that, as you can see, so it's really relaxing in dark. It seems to, so it's really relaxing in here. And you can see Venice in a real different way. So with the light of the palaces, of the house, and most of all of hotels. I guess so. I don't know if you know, but so Venice is not an island. Everything in Venice, all the buildings in Venice are built on wooden poles. And so Venice is all the city is built like a palafit. Every building is built as a palafit. In fact, there is this proceed with which so the wooden poles are planted on the soil. They're planted on the soil, and um, they're made with platforming wood. And as in this wood, there is no oxygen under the water. The wood doesn't so it doesn't destroy. Secondo me è il problema di internet. Okay, so doesn't ruin. It's not ruined because there is no oxygen. So there are the bacteria that usually there lives with oxygen on. They can't destroy the wood. And in here it's really there is silence. It's really quiet, even during the day. Not only during the night, but even during the day, it's this quiet in here.